Here on Joy 99.7 FM. And of course, last night, ahead of the start of the season, we brought you a 1-hour special on the Joy News channel with Hans Mensah Ando. Hey, and of course, the Gunners have started on a positive note. Alexander Lacazette finding the scoring boots in that game against Fulham. And of course, as we go along, we're going to be bringing you all of the updates. But remember to follow us on Twitter. It's at JoySportsGH on Twitter as we bring you all of the updates real time so that you don't miss out on anything in the ongoing English Premier League. Of course, during the week, there were major spots of drama, especially in the Kumasi Asante Kotoko boardroom. Well, we'll be having a brief conversation about that, look at the reality on the ground, and see how the Nanayo Amponsa-led administration can chart a peaceful path with the board. We'll be getting some analysis from some insiders and also people who have been within the fold of Kumasi Asante Kotoko before. And of course, top of the day will be a conversation with a man whom I simply refer to as once a seasoned goal poacher for Ghana, who saw some football here on the local scene and in destinations including India. He's a 1996 Olympian for Ghana and also has a wonderful story to tell us. Felix Abuaji, who's now a coach, is my guest here on the show. And of course, before we start all of the action here on the Joy Sports Link, it is very, very important. It's very, very necessary to revisit the happenings of last weekend in Manza, because something interesting happened on the tracks. Formula One is up next as we start off this cocktail edition of the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM with Felix Abuaji, ex-Ghana international and 1996 Olympian and now coach, topping up the discussion bit of the show. Welcome. Of course, we always try our best to find the strength and find, the energy to be here at this time of the day to bring you the big discussions of what's happening around the world in sport. Well, the Tuscan Grand Prix will be in focus, but before that, we need to revisit the happenings of last weekend in Manza. Gentlemen, you're welcome. I have a lot of testosterone here in the studio. Oh my goodness. Too much of everything is bad. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Dr. Santiapea is here, and of course, Nana Sebwedi is also here in his regular, favorite color because, of course, Liverpool are starting off their defense of the title this weekend. And of course, Kwabena Poku is also here with me in the studio. Gentlemen, great to have you. Good to have you in the studio. Welcome. Nana, say we haven't seen you in a while.
No, I haven't been, but I've been listening.
Yeah. Been part of moderated discussions and all of that in the industry.
Can I just say that?
Sure.
During COVID, you did a great job. All the scoops you brought us, the interviews.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was raving while at home every time you did each of them.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you so much. We try.
It was very good.
Yeah, sure. Gentlemen, let's start off with the big surprise of last weekend. So, we went in with expectations. And sometimes they say, be careful what you wish for. I remember very well that Toyin sat right there in your seat and said, we the Hamilton fans, we're getting tired of seeing Hamilton win all the time and blah, blah, blah. We want some competition. And competition came. Tell me about your levels of surprise. Let's go around. Let's begin with you, Nanase.
where I start from. I mean,
can you get close to the mic?
The Mercedes guys have always been very, very vociferous. I mean, and it's like every race is made for Hamilton, and it was good to see them get tested. that's all I'll say for now. The Mercedes guys are here; they'll speak for themselves.
So I mean, we all sat here. We gave our predictions, and we thought it was a done deal for Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas for a lockdown, which they did during the qualifiers.
Yeah.
But incidents, we were expecting a lot of incidents in Monza. We already said that it's a temple of speed, lots of curves.
Yeah.
We were expecting a lot of DNFs. Isha predicted 5 DNFs, and it came to pass.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So we were expecting all of that, but the shocking part was the penalty Lewis had, and the fact that before the beginning of the restart of the race, around 20-something laps, even the commentators said, "Watch out for Gasly," from the position he started from. People were saying literally, "Watch out for Gasly and Carlos Sainz," and it came to pass. They put up a good show. I enjoyed it. Lewis started from the back, but he did a good job. Came from 20 and came all the way to 7th. It showed you the caliber of a driver he is and all that. If he had been given 2 or 3 more laps, he would have been on the podium. By all means, he would have been on the podium. But Gasly did a yeoman's job. He was shocked. He spent about 10 extra minutes on the podium, wondering what had just happened.
Doc.
On my part, like I always say, you have to wait for the fat lady to sing. This time, the fat lady refused to sing.
Yeah.
But it gave us a very interesting race, a few surprises, and that's what Grand Prix is all about. Sometimes we focus on the first 3 drivers and forget about what is happening in the middle of the field. The middle of the field was fantastic. Surprisingly, Lewis Hamilton should come to Ghana and maybe learn street signs. He didn't see the sign.
Yeah.
And somebody in London saw it from the factory and called the team. But it was late. It took about a few seconds, but it was late.
Very well.
But then, to do fastest laps consecutively for 24 laps on hard tires, it's just mind-boggling. Because remember that people were setting the lap record on soft tires.
On soft tires.
Yeah.
So he did 22 consecutive fastest times on hard tires.
Look, let's get
and
into.
The most surprising factor was about reporters. I saw him after the qualifiers that he was finished because he was on the limit and he didn't understand how Lewis could beat him. So in the race, he had just given up.
Well, we're looking forward to the second, Italian Grand Prix, which is this weekend. So, what kind of confidence should Pierre Gasly be going into the weekend with, considering this big surprise that he popped up?
Well, I mean, look, the last FP3, he showed it. He clocked about 117 and came 4th, P4 or so in FP3. So he's boosted his own confidence. Let me remind you, last season he was booted out of Red Bull mid-season.
Sure.
Sent back to AlphaTauri, then Toro Rosso, and he's proven that he's a top-class driver. Very, very top-class driver. Red Bull keeps denying it. They've been interviewed over the weekend, and he keeps saying, "Oh, he's not part of our program," blah 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 blah. But you could see the shock on their faces.
They want him back.
Yeah, they want him back, but they can't say it. That's the thing.
I see.
They are still weighing their options. People are saying that they are still looking at the likes of Perez, who is leaving Racing Point, and Valtteri, Sebastian Vettel is going to Racing Point to be branded Aston Martin and all that. But Gasly has a lot of confidence going into this particular race. His driving partner, Kvyat, also has a lot of confidence being boosted by his partner. So in a way, this weekend, they are still the team to watch. Not just, what's his name, AlphaTauri, but then the likes of McLaren, Renault,
Racing Point.
And even Racing Point.
Okay.
In fact, if I may add to it, yesterday after FP2, there was only 1 second between the top driver and the number 20th driver.
I see.
It means the guys are bunching up, and they are catching up with the Mercedes at the moment.
All right. Now, quick projections for the weekend before we look at what's happening for the viewing party. Okay, Doc, let's begin with you.
For me, this weekend, we should watch out for Verstappen.
Max Verstappen was going to bounce back. Okay.
Verstappen
2 races down.
It's bouncing back. But I'll always put Lewis first.
Okay.
Because that guy has some anger in him this year and he's proving everybody wrong.
Okay. All right.
I will support what Nana is saying. I mean, look, it's Ferrari's 1,000 race in F1. And they are showing some signs of some good driving this weekend. Some signs of some good driving.
So it'll be a good way to mark the milestone.
A good way to mark the milestone. But I'm still going to look at Verstappen and Lewis very closely.
Okay.
And then look at Gasly and Sainz and the Renault team, the 2 Renault drivers, Ricardo and Ocon, very, very close.
Like Ogana said, it's our anniversary this weekend. Yeah. If we can pull off a podium finish, that would be great. The way our season has gone, I don't expect it, but it would be good to see it. We need to do a lot of work in the pit. I mean, the way we bring on all that. Our strategy should work. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So, first and second between Verstappen and Lewis, and maybe we finish third. Either of our cars will finish third.
Okay. What's happening this weekend in terms of the viewing party?
This weekend is our second drive-in viewing party at the Labadi Beach Hotel car park. Very, very amazing package that we are putting together. Lots of prizes to win from Labadi Beach Hotel and Heineken. It's going to be very interesting. As usual, tomorrow we are starting in the morning with the BMW Club to do our donation around the Labadi, Teshi, Mami, those neighborhoods before we all drive back to Labadi Beach Hotel around 11. Race starts around 1. Now, the beauty of this weekend is that we are adding other things to it. We are going to have an African market with Ghana and Hosman Shoes. And also Labadi Beach is setting up their grills right on the park, the food, drinks right on the car park. So people don't have to actually go back into the restaurant. Everything will be on the car park. And right after we're watching the race from 1. And after the race, we'll continue with a live screen of the EPL. EPL, okay. Also right on the field. So we'll be watching the Tottenham game also right on the field. So it will be a very interesting day tomorrow. We have a lot of things packed. As usual, Labadi is giving us a 20% discount on food and drinks. And Heineken is actually doing 50% discount on every Heineken drink at the venue. Okay. So it's going to be more of not just F1, but then also like a party in the park where we have a lot of sales also going on. So it'll be very interesting to join us tomorrow. Entry is free. Okay. It's free to enter. Just your car is your seat. All right. Just come through and have some fun.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you. And let's see how it goes this weekend, whether we're going to see yet another surprise or something else is going to happen. Yep. Well, let's see how all of it goes. Nase, thank you so much. Thank you, Kwabna. Thank you very much, Doc. You're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM, and of course we're bringing you that big conversation with Felix Abuaje, once a great goal poacher for Ghana, played at 2 Nations Cup tournaments for the Black Stars, and also featured at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. And of course now he's a coach, but he has a very interesting story. You might want to stay on, as you always do, to get all of this right here. Let's visit one of the big highlights of the pre-weekend with Joy Sports. Well, last night we brought you a special package, a preview package on the Joy News channel with Hans Mensah Ando. And of course we did various projections and got various stakeholders and various interested persons in there to also project ahead of the season and look at various factors from player transfers to all of the happenings during the the COVID period and all of that. So Gary Al Smith has joined me on phone for what he sees based on all the big discussions that went on yesterday. Gary, good to have you here on the Joy Sports Link.
Good to be here, Nathaniel.
Yeah. What has been on the menu between yesterday and today? I know something that normally is on your menu, but today, what happened? Give us a little bit of it as well.
On the projections?
No, not on the projections. I mean food menu. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, it's been an easy morning. I had something light this morning.
Oh, light. Wow.
Yeah.
You're not on diet, are you?
No. I mean, light by my standards is heavy by people's standards. Let's not get into that.
Anyway, so Gary, I mean, you made your own projections. I made my projections ahead of the season. Yeah, I believe very strongly that Liverpool are going to, retain their title. But hey, tell me, I mean, with all the discussions, I mean, you were part of the discussions as well. With all the discussions, what's the feeling you get, especially as these games have started?
Well, I think that the vibe generally is that even though people are making projections, due to the very special nature of this season, particularly because the transfer window ends in October, people have an asterisk on their projection, such that even if they predicted that, say, this team would win, they would always add the caveat that if you sign this or this target, things could change. In particular, if Liverpool do sign, those two players that everybody is talking about, one a creative who can create chances for the prolific front three, and then a centre back up. A lot of people feel that they can definitely retain the title. For City as well, I mean, they have bought quite shrewdly. Not a lot. They've looked at the places where they seem to be leaking and covered up nicely. And others also feel that if they even get maybe one other player, they will definitely be a shoe-in for the title. Then there's the question of Chelsea and the big question about whether they can settle in quickly. They have bought well, everybody knows that. But will they settle in quickly? Because, I mean...
Trust me, as a Chelsea fan, Gary, as a Chelsea fan, look, I mean, I'm not even being emotional about this. We're balancing. Yeah, we're being very realistic. We're being very, very, especially considering what has happened ahead of the season in the FA Cup and all of that. We're just weighing it nicely. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
so, I mean, if by some miracle, all the Chelsea signings gel quickly, well, they are going to be one prolific side, aren't they? I mean, considering they've bought a goalkeeper as well to give Kepa competition, whether, some people have said that they don't want Zuma to start in the defense. They want Rudiger instead.
Yeah. So
all those decisions have to be made. And then there's the question of whether Azpilicueta would be benched. Chelsea fans say absolutely not. As a captain and somebody who carries that back four, he should start ahead of James, who is known to have lapses in concentration and all that. That's what the middle is set. I mean, I can give it to you. Your middle looks quite exciting, and your front three also looks exciting as well. The big thing that a lot of Chelsea fans will be happy about is that they say that in this short preseason, Timo Werner has not missed even one chance in training. He has scored all 36 chances in training, which goes well. And to even give it a bit more excitement and hype, in the Fantasy League, he's the most bought striker in the Fantasy League.
Wow. Yeah.
Before, yeah.
So Gary, with all of these as a background, let's get into our offering this season once again for everybody who may have missed out on a bit of the conversation last night. Beginning with the Fantasy League and then the rest of our coverage.
Yeah. So the Fantasy League, the code is on our Instagram, Joy Sports GH. You can find it there. It's on our Twitter as well. It's on our Facebook. But if, for example, anybody is listening and wants the code, it's U for umbrella, F for Fox, 90Q for Queen, S for set.
Or Sobolo.
S for Sobolo, yes, Nathaniel. UF90QS. That's our code for the Fantasy League. That's just one of the offerings we have. And then we have the Premier League commentary on Sundays. We don't have Saturday commentary, but for special occasions, we will ask the Showbiz A to Z team to kindly give us way, to do commentary on Saturday. So we have that. The Sunday commentary is 100% by courtesy of our partners, the BBC World Service. Then, of course, we have updates on weekends, on weekend one, which I'll be doing at 1:40 in the afternoons on the Joy News channel. And then on Scoreboard, you can have all the highlights of all the games on Saturday and Sunday, 7:30. Scoreboard with Hans Spencer Ando. He'll give you all the highlights of the Saturday games. And then we have our shows, Global Sports from 3:45 to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. We've expanded it. And then George Attoh Jr. comes with Locker Room from next week from 7 to 8 p.m. every Friday. So that's the offering we have. Plus, of course, commentary of every game and updates on Twitter every Saturday, every Sunday, and every match day.
Gary, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Nathaniel. All the best with the show.
Sure. So, Gary Smith bringing us up to speed on what we should be expecting regarding the coverage of the EPL this term. And, of course, we're bringing you live commentary from the venue with our partners, the BBC. So he's written a very, interesting story when it comes to his football career. Well, when it comes to service to the national team, he played between 1994 and 2000. One of the big highlights, of course, of his national team career or service to the national teams was when he played at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. He scored some very interesting goals which warmed the hearts of many Ghanaians. Well, years on, he has seen different kinds of scenarios when it comes to club football in different destinations, some of which we may refer to as unorthodox. But, well, one of his biggest credentials as well is the fact that he is one of very few, or the only, to have starred for Al Ahly and Zamalek. These are two giants on the African continent. Well, Felix Aboagye, coach and ex-Ghana international, is my guest here in the studio today. Felix, thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure to be back once.
Yeah, and I need to add this, that over the last 3 to 4 years, we've had the services of Felix Aboagye as a pundit for coverage of the Africa Cup of Nations and for big situations on the continent when it comes to the CAF Champions League. Today, we're throwing the focus on his own story. And it's interesting that he's in a red shirt because Kumasi Asante Kotoko are also having, Al Ahly.
Please, if Ahly officials hear about this,
it will be a sacrilege. Well, so it's a red Al Ahly jersey, but red is also the color of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who have had a chain of issues in the boardroom.
Very interesting.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure that you also have thoughts on this. I mean, the fact that there was a lot of pomp and pageantry around the appointment of Nana Yao Amponsa. He outlined his plans for the club, and generally for people who are outside of the Porcupine Warriors family, they thought it was a positive move. And then in the past week, we've heard all sorts of stories about some instability in the boardroom and disagreements between the CEO and the club. I don't know how you feel about it from where you sit, Felix.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to be hearing those stories coming around.
Yeah.
Even immediately they appointed him, I think there were hula around him. People were trying to pull him down and other things. But I think it's not good for Ghana football. Kumasi Asante Kotoko was one of the biggest clubs, and Accra House of Folk, they are the two biggest clubs in Ghana. And circumstances surrounding them and other things are not being very, very favorable for the main public to consume. They have to assist him. They have to support him and give him the necessary support so that he must succeed. Because when he succeeds, it's the club that succeeds. So it's very, very unfortunate to be hearing that. But I hope when the management and everybody supports him, he's going to succeed.
Well, let's see how all of it goes. I've been reached on the phone line by Jerome Otri, who Jerome Otri is a seasoned journalist and has been within the fold of Kumasi Asante Kotoko for a very, very long time. Jerome, thank you very much for your time here on the show. Great to have you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Jerome, we've heard all the stories, about disagreements between Nana Yao Amponsa and some board members and all of that. Some supposed interference and all of that. First of all, what have you picked up? And second, very, very, very putting it very simple, what will be the way forward in getting a hopeful, peaceful journey, in this 3-year tenure for Nana Yao Amponsa?
I think what has happened only goes to show that Kotoko would have to really have tough men taking tough decisions for the club if we would come out of the sort of slumber that we have been in over decades now, particularly when you are talking about African club football. And what has happened again points to the fact that all hasn't been well in the last few weeks. And I have said that if it is about disagreement, then we shouldn't overblow things, because whether we like it or not, management members, head of management, board of directors always disagree. And the important thing is how they work around things so that the disagreements do not affect the job that they do or the work that, in this case, they are expected to perform. So for me, it is a matter of men and women
join discussing what they think will serve the interest of the club, and then the media also feeling that, look, a lot of these things go a long way to affect how the club is run, so it will be better you guys sit up and get things done the right way. I have not liked the fact that to some extent we have sensationalized what has happened, and I think it will serve the interest of the club if the key actors in the boardroom get the message clearly out there that this is not what they were asked to come in to do. We must just get the work done and move on.
It's interesting that you mentioned the bit of the media sensationalizing what is happening. Is it to say, for instance, that people are just speculating and there is no iota of truth? Because we've heard all those as well. We've heard communication to that effect as well.
No, not at all. I mean, I am not saying that these things the media are reporting are not true. I would not say that. What I'm saying is that these things that are happening are normal things that happen in every organization. I mean, the head of management or management members always will disagree with their board of directors, or the board of directors of companies will always disagree with the way things or certain things are done. And I'm saying that when these things happen, the way we report them should not create the impression as if, I mean, the things are getting out of hand. That is the feeling I have got. And I'm saying that disagreements are bound to happen. The important thing is how the actors in the boardroom handle their disagreements. And I'm sure that Kotoko is going to get out of these things. I mean, these are not the things that should set the club back. It shouldn't derail the focus of the board of directors or the management. It should rather set them on a clear path that if we are going to get things right, we would have to take tough decisions, we would have to disagree, but also find a very good way of settling our disagreements so that even if the issues come into the public domain, it won't be as if we have lost focus, we don't know what we are doing. Because once that impression is created, it is also going to affect anything that the club would want to do. Jerome,
thank you so much. We surely are going to be having some more discussions as the weeks roll by. Thank you so much, Jerome Otri.
All right.
Okay, Jerome Otri is in charge of the mouthpiece as well of the Kumasi Asante Kotoko family. Let's go back to the phone line before we get into our personality discussion for today and speak to a former management member of the club. Listuel Yesubukasin has joined us on the phone. Listuel, good to have you on the Joy Sports Link.
Hi, Nat.
Been a while.
Charlie, I do.
Great.
How are you guys doing?
Charlie, by God's grace. Yeah. You haven't spoken. Yeah, you haven't spoken on the Joy Sports Link in a while. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Listuel, you've heard, you've monitored what's been happening in the media space, and question is, from your experience, is it possible that some of these disagreements that have gone on in the boardroom, is it possible that these disagreements can be sealed off so that the public do not get to hear of it? Because at the end of the day, it's what happens within the boardroom, and it sort of must stay there.
Well, let me appreciate the opportunity and say good afternoon to your avowed listeners. If wishes were horses, coming from the Kotoko camp, I would have wished that all of these, if you like, negative happenings, do not get into the public. But who am I to think that, look, we can shelve these things and prevent them from getting into the media space? Because then you see, we as in the media, nose around, we try as much as possible to do what you call exclusive, and then we want to scoop the exclusives and put them out so as to be able to garner some mileage in terms of listenership, which ultimately culminates in sponsorships and therefore money for us. And so you cannot begrudge the media for being able to know that and get the story and put them out. Question is whether or not the information as they put them out, regardless of whether or not they are bad, are true. So once they do come out, it is then the responsibility of whoever is managing the media of Asante Kotoko to be able to, water down the negative impact that the negative report put in the media would have on brand Asante Kotoko. So it's tricky and dicey. But if I had my own way, I would have wished that the negative do not get published.
Now, the big question: how do we move on from here? Because there are people who have ideas. Sometimes the ideas may clash. Sometimes there are no points of disagreement. How do we move on from here? Because there is a lot of work lying ahead of Asante Kotoko, especially considering that, it's been confirmed that Asante Kotoko is taking part in Africa, and there are high expectations. You and I have had a conversation on television this week about, what the fans should be expecting, considering the kind of, foundation that is there and is available.
Nat, you call it a big question, but I think it's tricky and big at the same time. And we just have to learn how to order our home, put the pieces together and knit the rough edges to ensure that we don't put square pegs in round holes. The thing that I find about Kotoko, which for me is inimical to our going forward, is the point that everybody who gets appointed or recognized on the backs of the image of Kotoko wants to be heard. And therefore, suddenly everybody is a spokesperson, everybody is a PR person, everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be seen and to be heard, to be doing one good thing or the other for Asante Kotoko and all of that. And I think that it counts for the fact that our house is not ordered enough, so much so that there's this hierarchy, or if you like, organogram, that would ultimately dictate as to who plays what roles and who does what, so that we don't conflict in terms of everybody wanting to be heard and everybody wanting to be seen to be doing some good for Asante Kotoko. If we don't order our house, if we don't gather the pieces, if we don't structure and streamline things to the core, I'm afraid we would continue to do things in this haphazard manner. And when you are not ordered, when you are not organized, when you are not streamlined, things begin to knock things, and then you cannot even have a peaceful home to be able to plan and get pragmatic, to be able to go and salvage the dwindled fortunes of Asante Kotoko.
Well, Listowell, thank you so much. And from a very non-biased point of view, I really want to see this work so that there will be a piece of, evidence, or there will be that precedence of history or of success on the administrative tables. It helps our football at the end of the day.
I know.
Anyway.
I know. Same for Accra Hearts of Oak.
Sure.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Listowell. Have a wonderful weekend. Listowell Yesu Bukasin is a former management member of Kumasi Asante Kotoko here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, we're having a big conversation this afternoon with Felix Abuaje. What do you remember of him? Is it his jersey number? Is it one of the goals that he scored for the Black Stars or for the Black Meteors? What do you remember? Let's share the memories right here and let him also tell us his story. We've always heard him do analysis. Today, it is his story right here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. You can follow our live stream, and greetings to all of our friends who are joining us on My Joy Online TV on YouTube. And of course, greetings to all of our friends who are joining us from around the world as well. It's +233 244 340 437. +233 244 340 437 for our WhatsApp. Okay, Felix, once again, it's great to have you here in the studio.
Thank you.
Look, you have had a very interesting journey, but I want us to begin a wonderful journey, and an interesting one at that. Let's go into playing in the Ghana Premier League. The story is so vast that we can't tell all of it between now and 2 p.m. Let's talk about the Ghana Premier League, playing at Dewu Youngsters, and what it gave to you in terms of your confidence and in terms of growing that talent.
Thank you very much. I think I'll go a little back to when I was playing for Vora before I came.
Vora, very well.
Youngsters.
Yeah. Professor Mausi Dakes.
Yeah. I was by then in the Ghana Prison Service.
Yeah, you were an officer.
And,
sure.
As a prison officer, I think the journey took up from there after my graduation from Snaps College of Accountancy.
I see.
In Asalam Down. I decided to play football, but my dad wanted me to work. There was no job. So I was by then playing for Agona Swedo Fankoba in Swedo. So my daddy asked for me to return back home so that I might go and join the Ghana Prison Service. Fortunately, my dad also was a prison officer. at the prison's headquarters. He was a superintendent, so I needed to come back home to go and join the prison service. So I told my dad I wanted to play football. So he said if I don't return back and join the service, he's not going to take me as a father again. So I have to return back early and join the prison service. So right from the prison service, I had the opportunity to play football because after going to depot, passing out, the prison service was engaged in Indafa, and
Indafa Park,
Park and security service games.
I see.
So that gave me the opportunity to engage myself in football. We're being released after passing out. We're being released, so that I had the taste for football back again. So Professor Mausi Dake, spotted me, scouted me when he came to Indafa. Prisons were playing a match there, so he employed me to come and join Voradep. So I accepted the opportunity. He came to the prison service and came and asked a permission for me. So with the love that I have for football, I needed to join Voradep. So my career took off when Voradep played Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko, FA Cup final, Peugeot Cup final, 1989-1990, Peugeot FA Cup final.
Wow. So
I scored the most memorable goal in my life against Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko. During that time, they have Madam Pia, Kwesi Apia, and
wow.
A whole lot of
top guys,
top class defenders. So as a young chap, I was able to penetrate through their defense. It means that I'm ripe for football.
Wow.
So I scored a memorable goal from center along with Mohamed Odum was in pole. Then I scored. We played 2-2. Then we played penalties and we won the Peugeot Cup. So my career took off from that memorable goal.
Wow.
I always remember that memorable goal.
Wow. How difficult was it parting ways with Voradep, who had given you, because obviously you were a big fish, you had grown into a big brand and a big product, but then obviously they also needed your services. How difficult was that conversation? Was it a smooth one?
Yeah, it was a smooth one simply because the youngsters have also been in the newest club, the freshest club
at that time,
and Mr. Setiabua, very, very rich entrepreneur. He was buying players during that time. So myself and Lord Oscar and some of the top class players, Ibrahim Labran and others, he bought us. So he formed a formidable team for Dewu youngsters. That's why when you are going to the mountains, you see Dewu Park. It was our transfer money that Mr. Setiabua used to build that Dewu Stadium.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Which now, Dreams are using very well.
So, my move from Voradep to Dewu was very, very smooth because I was hot cake because of that memorable goal I scored.
Yeah.
So I was the most expensive player during that transfer window, in the tune of 1.2 million Ghana cedis, 120 Ghana.
With what is now 150 Ghana cedis.
Those days.
Very well.
So, it was, my career took off from that transfer, Fortunately for me too, I'm hailing from Latte Edukrom. Dewu and Latte Edukrom, they are same. So, I feel very, very
comfortable and at home.
Being at home, because most of my housemates and other things, they come to
watch you at the stadium.
Me at the stadium and give me the necessary support, So I was so happy joining Dewu, and from Dewu, then I had my first professional contract in Ali, and it came by no surprise, simply because I was in top form during those leagues. I was the second top scorer in the league, so I could remember Ali officials were in town to come and pick Augustin Ahimfo, was the leading striker, and so when they arrived, Augustin Ahimfo have traveled to Germany, I think Dortmund.
Yeah.
So they asked who is the next
available player or the in terms of quality.
Striker, in terms of quality, goal scoring. You know, at the airport, then one lady called my name. You know, so up to now, I have that motivation that, you know, your destiny is another person's hands. You understand? There was one lady, a cleaner at the airport.
It was a cleaner at the airport.
At the airport.
I see.
After our early officials, our club vice president was a pilot.
I see.
So he piloted Egypt to Ghana.
I see.
So getting down, he saw, met the cleaner and asked, he wants a player. So you know who is good? Who is good in Ghana? He said, oh, one young chap, Felix Abuaji, is there. They said, wow. So they came straight to the U. They came and asked from 2 video clips. They watched my training. Then immediately they got me.
Wow.
So that was very, very memorable. I was even searching for that lady, but up to now I've never found her.
You have never found her to say thank you to her.
I've never found that.
Wow, interesting stuff here being revealed. Felix Abuaji, our guest here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. That big move from the Ghana Premier League to Al Ahly was facilitated by a cleaner at the Kotoka International Airport. Interesting things do happen, and they're only revealed here on the Joy Sports Link. Remember, your messages are very welcome. +233 244 340 437. +233 244 340 437. This is Time with Felix Abuaji. Now, arriving in Egypt, I mean, Al Ahly, big tradition, you know, very expectant fans and very, very passionate about their football as well. How did you manage to settle in and, you know, get...
I think it was... I was very, very ambitious, you know, to go and perform in Ali because we've been hearing Cup Ali versus Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko play when I was young, you know, during the 80s. Ali have been coming to Kumasi to play Kotoko and other. We've been hearing of Ali, but never did I knew that Ali was a big club in Africa, you know. After facilitating my transfer, my contract, everything, I have to go travel to Cairo. Immediately I arrived, about 3,000 fans of Ali supporters are in the airport waiting for me. I was very, very surprised. Wow, am I a Maradona? You know, I was very, very surprised because I didn't know.
And also, how did it? I mean, how old were you at the time? In your very early 20s?
Early 20s.
Look, and
early 20s.
And as a young man, how did you manage to psych yourself out of the possible attitude that was going to come with, you know, the fact that you had assumed this new space within public appeal, and now you had thousands of people following you and all of that. How did you manage to just keep your head level?
It was very, very cunning, you know, even right from Ghana, the service, you know, prison service, you were not allowed to be a professional, you know, when you are working the service, you don't have to be a professional, you know, unless you quit.
Okay.
So, my sports director, Mr. BT Baba, he was
who's now, is now a member of parliament.
Yes. He was my sports director, you know. He asked me not to travel because when I travel, they're going to arrest me. So
he wanted you to stay and be part of the prison service.
I was the top player for prison service during that time. Was the captain.
And the rivalry as well among the security services at the CESA Games is something else.
In the CESA Games, it's very, very rivalry. The army, the police, immigration, the fire service. You know, it's very, very wonderful. You know, and they really wanted me to leave.
Okay.
But you know, I was so ambitious. I have to go and pursue my career. It's a new level for me.
Yeah.
So I have to travel. So going to the airport, you know, they sent some security personnel to come and arrest me at the airport.
Wow.
Immediately they arrived at the airport, you know, the flight took off and it went. So even right from Ghana, you know, the tense and the atmosphere was not on my side. You know?
Wow.
So after I arrived, I felt very, very comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, and the fans made me love the club right from the beginning. You know, they hailed me at the airport. They carried me high. They showed us drumming and dancing and drumming and waiting for me like Maradona.
Wow.
So it was very, very wonderful. And the journey all started from there.
You made 117 appearances and also scored over 40 goals for Ali.
Yeah. Yeah, I stayed there for close to 6 years, 5.5 years. Memorable journey for me, you know. They love me, they adore me. They have my statue at the stadium.
Wow.
The main president, Mubarak, the son, Gamal Mubarak, you know, he loves me very, very much. And, you know, they do everything for me to be happy in Ali. And, you know, the club that I will never forget, man.
You've been part of club football in this country for a very long time. You've also been a very key part of the setup at Liberty Professionals, which was established by Alhaji Sly Tete and his partner, Mr. Felix Ansel, the late Alhaji Sly Tete, whose 9th anniversary we celebrated today. We're going to come to that bit of the story as well. But what are the key things that you feel Ghanaian clubs must learn from the Al Ahly example?
Yeah, you know, Ahly is the most richest club in all Africa, to be frank with you. The infrastructure, the development, the transition from the youth team to the senior level, it's so amazing, you know. And I went there and met almost so many players who have been from the youth side right up to the senior side. They have been in the club for close to 20 years, 25 years. They still play for the club. You know, it's very, very amazing. So when I look back, I look at Ghana, you know, I never see such development going on, you know. You cannot play from the youth team up to the senior team. You know, whatever that happens in Ahly, it's like Europe. You know, they graduate you right from the youth team up to play for the senior team. And then when you finish your career, you know, most of my playmates and other, they are the board of directors, some of the CEOs of the club, some of the team managers. So, you know, they give you jobs, give you appointments so that after football you can have much life with the club, you know, the club now. So I never see such development in Ghana. It was Alhaji Sly Tete who initiated those type of management style of, you know, to develop a club. But unfortunately, he passed away, you know. When we were at Liberty, you know, Sly assembled one of the most fearsome class of players who, I think, during those generations, you could remember the Black Stars, you know, about 6 regular starters of Black Stars
came from Liberty Professionals, yeah.
Sule Muntari, Asamoah Gyan, Kojo Asamoah,
Michael Essien.
Every Michael Essien, all of them came from Liberty. Looking back of those years, you know, we don't see such development going on in Ghana, and it must come back. We must have leaders who can have that heart like Alhaji Sly Tete, so that at least Ghana football would thrive. So it's been a wonderful journey for Ali, and things that I saw there amazed me a lot. Up to now, they've decided to come and open up a youth football center in Ghana, and in honor of my name.
Wow.
That thing is still there. They called me, I think, last 2-3 weeks that hopefully they are putting 1 or 2 things together, and if they come, I think I will be in charge of the whole development in Ghana. So I'm looking forward for that, because like how I said, the club loves you, they do everything for you, they give you job, they give you that things we don't see in Ghana anymore. You know, so I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully if it comes, I think it will be a great news for me and for my family and for Ghana football as a whole.
Al Ahly gave you a big platform, and it landed you at Olympiacos, and you were able to do one or two things there as well. Modest 11 goals for that stint.
Yeah, you see, from Ahly, they didn't even wanted me to go. They want me to be a lifetime player for Ahly, But looking back, I realized that I needed to go to Europe. That was my ambition. As a
do you regret that decision of leaving Al Ahly at the time?
No, I never regretted.
Okay.
As a player, when you're growing up, your love for more successes, and trust you to go higher. So I wanted to play for Ahly because the love was there. I was a crowd puller. The stadium is being filled when they hear my name. They chant my name, 90, 120 minutes when I'm on the field of play. When you want to rely on those, love and other things, you cannot go forward. So I needed new challenges. And Ahly, when Olympiacos call came, they asked me, Felix, do you want to go? I say yes, because I want new challenges. After close to 5.5 years, I needed a new challenge. So I needed to take the opportunity. Then I initiated the contract, the move, and finally I had my wish. Then I joined Olympiacos. But the journey to Olympiacos, I wanted to get to Europe and be one of the top class players in Europe. But I didn't have success in Olympiacos simply because I didn't have favor from the coach. I didn't have playing time in Olympiacos. So the journey to Olympiacos ended abruptly. Maybe one season. I signed for 3 seasons. One season, then the journey ended there.
Felix, you between that period, which was 1999 and 2004, you found yourself in different places. I mean, you went to the Gulf, you played for Al Nassr, you played for Qatar Sports Club, you came back to Liberty Professionals, and then you found yourself in India as well. Mumbai FC.
Yeah, you see, the love in Ahly, made me, have the feeling that if you stay at one club, when you performing and you enjoying your play and you have the playing time, I think your form goes up.
Yeah.
And you play to the highest level that you want. But if you want new challenges, is there where the troubles and the disappointments
start coming in?
Yeah, start coming in. And in Olympiacos, I find myself, I didn't knew in football there are disappointments. There are times when your form dips and you have to start from the bench and you have to take your position back and so many other things. Traveling back to the national team before you go back, your position has been taken. There are a whole lot of things that as a footballer, as a professional, you need to try and contain in your career. Olympiacos, I didn't have that much playing time, so my form dipped down. So I decided to make a move, to make another move. They decided to loan me to another club, which I rejected. Then I advocated the contract. I came back home. Fortunately for me, there was one German coach, Rainer Hollmann, who came and coached me at Al Ahly. So he also moved to Al Nassr in Dubai. So the call came that, can I come to Dubai? I said, really? During that time, Dubai, they are also shaping their football. So I'm the first Ghanaian to go and play in Dubai, in the UAE.
Wow.
In the Emirates. I was the first Ghanaian. Because in Dubai, there are a whole lot of many Egyptians who ply their trades in Dubai.
Sure.
About 20%
of the players
are the players. So they followed my football in Egypt. So they were also very happy for me to be in Emirates, to come and grace the occasion. So I made the move to UAE, and that move, I think, changed my life. You know, it was a biggest pace in my football career, which I think gave me a little push in my my life. So I now realize that when you can make different kinds of moves, you know, you look fresh in the eyes of the club, and you don't keep long in that club, you know, so that you rot. If you don't have any playing time, I think you change club, and a club that you give you that platform and more playing time. So going to the UAE was a godsend move for me.
Because it was good money as well.
Yeah, good money as well. Because in Ali, I was enjoying my football, but the money was not enough. Olympiacos, it was a little bit better, but the UAE purse was much higher, which I think changed my whole life. Then I have the taste for money now.
Well,
I know in football there is money.
There's good money.
There is good money in football.
Okay. And so you were able to buy yourself some stuff?
Yeah, I was able to buy myself some building properties. You know, because I was blessed to have Alhaji Slaitete, who was my manager. You know, he guided me, gave me the directions. He bought many properties for me, which I think, looking back today, I have to give credit to him for who I am now. Not because of Alhaji Slaitete, I should have squandered all my money, you know, but he guided me.
So you mean that if you were alone, or you probably were working with someone else, you would have...
You know, in football, you have to have a good manager who can guide you throughout the journey. The journey is not be easy, because when you start getting money, the money will drive you crazy. You know, the money.
So young, good looking, you're scoring the goals.
So, you know, the ladies will be coming. You know, if you are not lucky.
And you had your fair share.
Yeah, you know, if you are not lucky.
You haven't answered my question, Felix.
Question mark. You know, if you are not lucky to have somebody who can guide you throughout those journey, because you've got 15 good years in active football. 5 years you have to start making your name. 5 years you have to get money within those periods. Then the other 5 years, then you run down your career. 15 years, you have to run down your career. So those 5 years, from Olympiacos to Emirates to Qatar, Qatar to back to Zamalek. I came back to Zamalek, and from Zamalek, then I went to India. You know, those 5 good years made me who I am, and I had some little pairs, and I was able to establish my life, and now I can look back and see that I've been in football before.
Now I want us to talk some more about your relationship with Alhaji Slaitete, who was also your brother-in-law at a certain point in your life. But returning to Egypt, I mean, I'm looking at how much love the Ali fans had developed for you. Now you return to Egypt and you have to come and play for their sworn rivals. How easy was that for you?
It was the greatest mistake
of your career.
Grave mistake I ever did in my career.
But I mean, when you had the opportunity, what was the point? Was it the money?
I never knew how deep rooted Ali and Zamalek, their rivalry was. You know,
until you decided to go and play for.
Until I decided to go and play for Zamalek. You know, after Emirates, I went to Qatar. In Qatar, there was one Egyptian agent who enticed me to come back to Egypt for Zamalek, because the fans want to see me back. You know, I didn't had that message early that, you know, if you play for Ali, you can never play for Zamalek. I didn't have that message quick. So I I accepted that offer. Then the offer was initiated. Then immediately I arrived in Egypt. Then I realized how deep-rooted the rivalry was. I shouldn't have made that move. You know, there were.
Did you meet some hostile fans there? You know, did you get?
The love that Ali fans had for me was so much that, you know, messages were sent to me that they didn't want to hand me. You know, I should leave the country.
I see.
Because they love me so much that they want to harm. They want to do everything to take my life out.
Wow.
So I have to quit the club as soon as possible. So within 6 months, I have to abrogate the contract with Zamalek. Then we quickly have to.
So you got threats. You got threats and all.
So many threats.
Wow.
You know, because from where
you scored. You scored against Ali.
Yeah, I scored against Ali. No, I never scored. I can't even score against.
You
Ali.
You didn't have the confidence to score against Ali.
No, it was a taboo. You can't do it.
I see.
You know? And
so what? There were days when you had. Hold on. So there were days when you had opportunities to score in games against Ali in the Big Derby, and you wouldn't score because of the implications.
No, I didn't even play that much. You know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I didn't even have that courage to play that much because the threats that were coming, you know, it was rare, and you know, you cannot put your life down and you know and be harmed in one country simply because of the rivalry between two clubs. So I gave them the example of Luis Figo from Real Madrid to Barcelona and those rivalries. And you know, when you're in Europe, it's normal, you can play, you know. But in Egypt, it's a taboo. So within 6 months, I have to abrogate the contract and I have to
move on.
I have to move out.
Felix, tell me about playing in India because you know, India is cricket, okay, and so football at the time as well. I mean, you know, hadn't really shaped up. So, how challenging was it for you, and how did you psych yourself up to settle in there?
You see, when football keep calling you, you know, you have no objection than to go, because during those years I didn't have the opportunity to play actively like a professional player, you know, because every season they have to move from one club, jump from one club to another, which I think it didn't give me the needed form that I needed to play active football. So David Booth, who came and coached Obuasi Goldfields during that time, Obuasi Goldfields had a relationship with Alhaji Slider, may so rest in perfect peace. So he called Alhaji Slider, is Felix around? And he said, yes. Can he come and help me in India, in Mahindra? It was Mahindra United Football Club.
I see.
So because of Coach David Booth, I made that memorable move to India. But in India, you know, many people thought it was cricket, but their love for football too is very, very huge. You know, they have good footballers. During those times, India also is shaping up, and I needed to go and see the challenge also there. So it was not easy, you know, even moving from our apartment to the training ground can take almost 3 hours.
Why?
Traffic.
I see.
Traffic. Moving from the apartment, the bus takes off, can take us more than 1 hour up to our where we train. After training, moving from the training ground to our home would take us more than 1.5 hours. So it was a huge challenge, and you know, when you have that love, you know, that you want to play, I think you can do everything very, very possible. Wherever football calls you, you have to go there. But one very important thing, after India, I went to Maldives. Have you heard of the
Maldives?
Maldives?
Yes, of course.
It's an island, Bangladesh, close to Bangladesh, India is an island where also they play football. So you see, football.
Was it a tax-free place as well?
Yeah, it's a tax-free place.
I see.
And the journey has been very, very long and very, very interesting for me. And from Maldives also, I went to Vietnam.
Vietnam, I remember the Vietnam move very well.
Yeah. I also went to Vietnam, which I think.
Vietnam is also tax-free.
It's also tax-free.
No, but Felix, I mean, at your level, at that stage, you had played at the Olympics, you had played at 2 AFCONs for Ghana, and all of that. Didn't you also feel that you were lowering your value and your ratings because you were playing in places that were not really known and were not rated and did not complement your brand and your weight?
Yeah, like how I said from the beginning, I needed to play in Europe. So I wanted that move from Ali to Olympiacos. You know, I wanted from Olympiacos, I was expecting that I can go to England or Germany or France, but unfortunately for me, the journey ended so quick in Greece, and that I didn't have the courage to go to further my career in Europe.
I see.
But one very important thing that happened to me, I got an injury, which I think also slowed me down a little bit. I had a gout under my foot, which I think it took me a longer period for me to heal that gout, and I think also that slowed my football career a little bit for me. But the move that I made to the Emirates, that I realized that even though I cannot play in Europe, I can play in the Arab countries and make a lot of money, make small money. But looking back, I think looking at my structure, my statue, and other things, if I have gone to Europe, I think it will be a blessing for me, and maybe I should have been one of the greatest player ever to grace the occasion of the English Premiership of any other country.
Felix Awaji is my guest here, and of course, for those of you monitoring that game as well and live tweeting on Joy Sports GH on Twitter, Arsenal is in a very, very comfortable start for the English Premier League season 2020-2021, and this is after a 3-0 win. They're in extra time now. It's a 3-0. They're cruising to a 3-0 victory over Fulham away. And of course, Alexander Lacazette started it off in 8 minutes. Dos Santos Megales in the 49th, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the 57th minute. So Arsenal looking forward to a 3-0 start to pick up 3 valuable points as well on match day 1 of the English Premier League 2020-2020 season. Of course, you can also follow us as we bring you a live stream of this interview on My Joy Online TV. Later on, we'll activate the phone line so that you can join us with your thoughts and your messages. Remember, it's 0244-340-437. 0244-340-437. We're talking about your relationship with Alhaji Sly Tete. You got married to his sister.
Yeah.
May God bless her soul. She passed on some years ago. How was the relationship like? I mean, your manager is your brother-in-law. You know, you're doing all of these things together.
I think the relationship with Alhaji Sly
and the Tete family generally,
it's been so deep. I could remember Sly went to Liberty University in USA. During those periods, I was with the Ghana Prison Service. So at the headquarters to Alhaji Sly's father's house, family house, is just a close. So my dad and Alhaji Sly's father, they have good relationship. You know, evening time they do meet, then they talk about things. Very, very fortunate also, my senior brother, who is also ex-footballer, Peter Boaji, he played for Kwa United, ZBFC. He played for the Meteors, Black Meteors, and you know, He played for Arnold Warriors.
Peter was older, right?
Peter was older. That was my senior brother.
Sure.
He was staying at Alaji Slice, the family house. So I went and stayed with my brother and went to Snaps College and went to school. And I stayed there for close to 10 years as a young kid.
So while you were there,
so
you were...
Why? I know why you want to tell the story too, but I will deviate a little bit. Whilst I was in Alaji Sly's father's house, Sly also moved from USA and came back home. So Sly had the love for me. He know I'm a young chap. He is a friend to my senior brother, and it's like we are a family. So we know each other. So after we train at the Ghana Prisons headquarters, the park there. So Sly normally comes there to come and watch our game. He also an ex-player, so sometimes he do play. So he told me I'm a very, very good guy. He will manage me, and he will find a club for me. So during my career, progress from Voradep up to the youngsters, Sly was closer to me. You know, I was also staying in their house, so he was closer. I was staying in their barracks. I do come to their house, wash his clothes. Me and for Sabasius. Fosia also is my closest friend. We have been going to Sly every weekend to go and wash Sly clothes.
Wow.
Iron it for him. You know, we are like blood family. You know, so my journey to Ali, it was, I told them without my manager, I cannot sign. So they have to fly Alaji Sly from Accra to Egypt before he came and witnessed my how I signed. So the bond between me and Alaji Sly has been huge, you know, since day one. And I credit him for whatever that is happening in my life. All my properties that I've built, it's Alaji Sly who guide me and everything. And he's been wonderful, man.
And while all of that happened, you were dating his sister as well. You got married to her. You have some lovely children I've met.
You know,
yeah.
You know, when you are a young chap, sometimes you move around. You know, as a young guy and other things. When you are in a relationship, it's different. But the moment you turn a professional and you get into marriage, you know, if you don't balance your football life and your marriage life, one will fall. You know, what I've realized is the moment you marry, the love for your wife and your kids and the love for football,
they compete?
Yeah, they compete.
I see.
And you need to balance it 50-50.
I see.
Because if you...
In your case, what did you do?
Yeah.
Were you able to balance it?
Yeah,
Would you say that you were able to balance it well?
Because my wife was into football already, because all his brothers, they are ex-footballers. They like football. So he knows the life of their brothers. So during the marriage, things that provokes marriages and you know, break up marriages, she had that patience for me.
Because of her experience with her brother?
Because of her experience with, he knows how footballers are. You know, it's not easy to date a footballer or a musician or somebody who is very, very
popular,
famous, very, very popular, and a young chap who is rising up. You know how men are. So she was able to contain the marriage, to contain me, simply because she knows the life of we the footballers. You know, and she knows me also very well. You know, in marriage, if you don't know each other, sometimes there are a lot of that. She knows who I am, how she can control me, and all other things. So that kept my marriage going. So during the time that I have to marry, you know, our early officers said they don't want me to come and be chasing their women, you know, because if you come to the Arab country, you know, if you come and fuck around, they can even kill you.
That word shouldn't have been used. Apologies for that. Yeah, go ahead. Let's go ahead. Yeah.
So they asked me to marry or bring my mother, because I was so young during that time, or bring
a family member.
So they gave me that two choice. So after I returned back to Ghana, my senior brother told me that, as a young chap, you need
to settle down.
You need to settle down. Somebody beside you, so you need to get a good wife. So he said, Alaji's daughter, she's very humble, somebody you can take, she can help you throughout your career. You don't have any troubles, any other problems. So I also knew her, so it was very, very easy. The relationship was very easy, simply because the father also knows me.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, my mother was a trader. She goes to Insawam Adrejiri to bring cassava, plantain, and other things, kontomire, and so I have to take it to go and sell early in the morning before I go to school. It was Alaji's house that is my first stop. Alaji lies kontomire.
I see. So yeah,
I've been going to sell
to the family.
To the family.
Okay. So while you were doing all of that, you were looking around. If you just joined us, this is a conversation with Felix Awaji telling us some deep stuff that you may not hear anywhere else. Well, before we continue, let's do some messages, shall we? And Attoh, remember from the onset, I told you that I and Ponsa can't do the job. More problems are bound. Come and watch out for more problems. Okay, he's referring to the Kotoko discussion we had earlier. Now, and then on Felix, he says Felix was more aggressive for goals and his shots at goal were more powerful. Attoh, take it or leave it. Chelsea is winning the league this season. Watch out for some perfect goals. Okay, this is from DK. DK, thank you for your message. Let's see how the season goes. Arsenal have started on a very, very good note. So let's see how it goes. Now, more of your messages. Now, well remembered for the authoritative goals that he and Robert Saba scored for Voradep against Kotoko and Kumasi. Then in 1996 Olympic Games, I was so angry he didn't start, but when the coach saw reason and brought him on, he showed the difference. Personally, I'm particularly fond of his stylish walking and running. This is from Wilson in Cantonments. Okay, Wilson taking us back with that message there. Now, there's this other one that says, good afternoon, Nat. One thing I remember about Felix was his physique. He had huge thighs and he could hit the ball very well. Most of the kids who played in the coach level around Mamprobi at the time looked up to him. I love his fighting spirit as well. This is from Frank. Frank, thank you so much for that message. Remember, it's 0244 340 437. 0244 340 437. Now let's check this one out as well. Okay. He says Liadi to play for Hearts. Well, I'm not very sure about that message. Please re-word it and bring it back. Now, okay, so this is not related to our interview. So 0244 340 437. Send in the messages. I'll be glad to share with everyone else. 0244 340 437. It must have been tough all these years that, you lost your wife how many years ago again? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I remember we're all
tough,
there. Yeah.
Very tough.
Yeah.
And I had so many meetings with my brothers, my siblings. They encouraging me to remarry, which I think I'm giving it a thought.
Okay.
Because it's not been easy, And what I realize is in marriages, you need some ample time to reflect on what went wrong, where you take it off from where you left it.
Okay.
And make sure that you don't make mistakes, because bringing in another woman and how the linkage will be with your children, because if you don't link it very well, maybe it will really...
how are the kids doing anyway?
Yeah, wonderfully fine. and they are doing well, and hopefully after they all graduating, I think I'll get back my life back, and I can move on, and they also move. I want to put them on the ladder somewhere. I think they will be comfortable with their lives, which they will not have many issues when they grow up, because I didn't have that opportunity as a young chap. I didn't have that smooth life during my youth days, so I have to give them that needed platform, so that at least they will enjoy their life when they all grow up.
Atlanta 96, many people, I mean, texters have sent in messages on that. Atlanta 96, I remember that game between Ghana and Brazil, which we lost by 4-2, which also was part of the process of discovering Ronaldo, Luis Nazario da Lima, Ronaldo, as a big star. And you all played on the same stage. When you look back now, I mean, that game was a 4-2 game, and I was so mad that we lost concentration and took in 2 extra goals from those guys.
Playing against Brazil was the greatest moment every player wished to play. And playing at the Olympics is one also the cherished moments as a footballer. You need to accomplish that for you to complete your career.
Sure.
If you don't have the opportunity even to play at the World Cup, if you're playing at the Olympics, it will be most memorable times in your life as a player. So going to Atlanta Olympic Games, the journey, playing the qualifyings and qualifying to Atlanta, we never knew we were going to meet Brazil. So scoring that memorable goal against the mighty Brazil, when the whole Dida was in pole. Then looking back, I realized that we were really, really unfortunate to have lost that match. Looking at Brazil team, Roberto Carlos was playing, Dida was in pole, Ronaldo, Bebeto, a whole lot of Brazil, the Brazilian superstars.
Yeah.
Who from that generation, some became world best player. Rivaldo.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that? That
sad.
You played with these guys.
Sad.
Yeah, you played with these guys at this level,
very, very
and
sad.
they shut up.
Yeah, very, very sad. That looking back on that match, that particular match, looking at the Brazilian team, from there, they were all promoted to the national team, their senior national team. Then from there, some of them became great, some of them became world stars. And looking back at our team during that time, some were demoted from the mature team, they were not called back again. Our few people were promoted, and we couldn't make it to the highest level. The standard that we are allowed to go, we couldn't make it. So it's very, very sad. Very sad. And I would have wished that most of us would have played in Europe and be world stars and other things. But
so you feel that the that disconnect in graduating you guys from the Olympic team to the national team is what caused the problem? Is that it?
Of course. Looking at the Brazilian team, they were from their national under 17, they were all promoted to their under 20s.
Sure.
Then they were promoted for the Olympic team under 23. Then from that journey, they were all picked to the Brazilian senior national team. So you see, the transition and the transformation was very, very huge. Compared to us, when we finished the tournament, the team was dismantled. Only few of us got the opportunity to play for the national team, for the Blasters. So that link, that connection, the missing link that we didn't have during our time.
Wow, interesting stuff there. The Black Stars, you played at 2 Nations Cups. You played in 98. You played in South Africa 96 as well.
Burkina 98.
Burkina 98, yeah, exactly. Tell me about those experiences. It's been several years on. We're still battling with wanting to win the trophy and all of that.
Yeah, you see, concerning the national team, I don't know. I don't even know how I would term it. Whether it's bad luck, whether we did some mistakes right on the way, because in South Africa, we assemble one of the greatest players of our generation, of our time, and against South Africa, our maestro got injured. He was our link. He was our captain, and he got injured, and we lost the semi-final to South Africa, and we couldn't go to the final, which I think we had the greatest opportunity during that time that we have to win something for our country, but luck eluded us. We didn't realize it from the beginning. I will not blame anybody, because when we realized that Abedi was our maestro, the technical team have to realize that we need to rest him for some games. You understand?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to play all the games.
Yeah, you think we overused Abedi Pele?
Yeah, we
overused him?
Yeah, now I'm now a coach.
Yeah.
So looking back
to
those years, like if I were the coach during that time, what would I have to keep my two most glamorous players in my team? Should I have to overuse them? Should I have to keep them for some games? Which games are more important? After winning 2-0 in the game, should I have to keep my player, my best player on the field for 90 minutes? These are the things that, as a coach, you need to reflect. Looking back on that match in particular, which Abedi got injured, if he should have played, he should have won and go to the final and win the AFCON in South Africa. But, we flop on the way, and who are you to blame? Maybe bad luck. So, looking back, I see that though we make a whole lot of mistakes, when united in camp, the spirit was good. We're winning games, everything was comfortable until that thing happened to us, and we couldn't get to the final.
Let's do some more messages. There's this one that says, I have known Felix from the days in Voradep and then to Deu before leaving to Al Ahly, so he didn't play for Hearts. He was a hard-running striker, crafty and very disciplined. I can see his play in his boys in Elmina Sharks, Trinidad, and etc. This is from Philip in Sakaman. Okay, Philip has been doing some very big following and technical analysis. Samuel KN says, great interview. Please let him flow. The word is so mild that he can use it anytime. Okay, I don't know which word you are referring to, but thank you all the same for that message. Now, Wilson says a lot of the players who went to the 96 Olympics were not good enough. Emmanuel Osei for Stephen Beidou, Henry Kennedy, Augustin Ahemfo, Jacob Nete. Okay, are you saying they were not good enough? No.
Maybe he wants to say
they were good enough. Well, because this obviously, these are great guys.
If you say Osei Kufuor is not good enough.
Hey, come on. Stephen Beidou, Henry Kennedy, Augustin Ahemfo.
He went on to play for Bayern Munich and won Champions League.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, look,
we are good enough. That's why the country pick us
exactly
to go and play in the Atlanta Olympics.
Exactly. One of the texters were talking about players you are mentoring and people who are playing like you and all of that. Talk about people who are following the footsteps. Now, recently John Entry was in the news. He plays for Pyramids FC in Egypt, and he's hit a century of goals. I mean, this is something you did. You did it, and you surpassed it as well back then. How do you feel about it? A Ghanaian now walking in your shadows in Egypt.
When I went to Ali, I went and some Ghanaians came before me.
Okay.
Abdul Razak, he played for Arab Contractors.
And
the
Golden Boy Abdul Razak.
Golden Boy Abdul
Very
Razak,
well.
he played for Arab Contractors. And Emmanuel Kwashi, may he so rest in peace, he played for Zamalek. Those were the two most glamorous players I went and met. They played before I went to Ali. You know, I also went there. Most of the Ghanaian players came there, and John Entry has been there. You know, it's been remarkable that John has been scoring a whole lot of goals. You know, but what he couldn't do was he had the opportunity to play for Ali, but he couldn't have a good time with Ali. You know, and in Ali in Egypt, if you can play for Ali and make that lot of goals, then they will recognize you, your achievements will be recognized, and a whole lot of things. But I have to congratulate John Entry. He's been remarkable. He's been good, scoring so many goals, and hopefully he can go 120, 130, 140 goals before he leaves Egypt. You know, I didn't have the opportunity to play for different clubs in Egypt. He has been playing for 5 different clubs, maybe 6. So he's been able to achieve such a high feat. So he has to continue with that journey.
Great.
And hopefully he will be spotted by the national team, play for one of the national team, and the achievement that he is achieving now will not be in vain, because if you can achieve all those feats and you don't play for the national team, then it means they don't recognize what you are doing. So
now,
hopefully they have to invite him and come and don the national team colors.
Very well. Nat, I heard an interview by the South African coach that if that perfect goal was not disallowed, there was no way his team would have won that match. This is from Edwin Intakrade. Of course, Edwin Intakrade, great. I remember that South Africa game, Prince Poli's goal, right?
Yeah.
Prince Poli scored a goal that was disallowed.
Yeah.
It was a tough evening, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a tough evening.
You know. The host, you know, the fans were behind them, and it was a very, very tough match for us. You know, like how I said, we miss our maestro very, very much. He should have played, but not taking that away from that, we had a very good team. A team very, very capable of winning that whole tournament. But unfortunately, our efforts were not enough, and the South Africa game derailed our progress. So on and on we go, and still we cannot win the trophy.
Sad. I remember that
very,
evening.
very sad, yeah.
Sad. Coach, before we get on the phone lines, let's talk about Liberty Professionals, and you were very much in the thick of things at Liberty Professionals. The state of the club now, I mean, 9 years on after the passing of Alhaji Tete, things are not the same, aren't they?
Yeah, you see, it needs a combination of so many things. You know, Sly was like an engineer. You know, he was like an engineer in Liberty Professional. You know, he facilitated so many contracts for the club. He brought in many resources. You know, the finance, everything. You know, he had the link between Udinis and Liberty Professionals. That every year,
every season,
he will give Udinis 2 youth players to be matured. You know, then that onward transfers and other things. That's why Asamoah Gyan, Kojo Asamoah, Sule Muntari and others, or
Rabiu Mohammed,
they passed through Udinis. You know, he had that link, and he had that link also with Rene. That's why Asamoah Gyan went to Rene. You know, he had that link. You know, Sly was a visionary. You know, Sly crafted everything for Liberty Professional. You know, took Liberty Professional from nowhere to the highest mountain. You know, so after the passing away of Alhaji Sly, you know, definitely things will deteriorate a little bit. And you need people like Sly to reinvent those days of Liberty Professional, but unfortunately, we are not seeing that. But the club is still there. It is being run. We hopefully, if things get better, I think Liberty will come back strong and more powerful again in the future, I think.
0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Please get through to us. Let's have a last chat with Felix Abuaji before we wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. The Joy Sports Link here is produced by the Joy Sports team. There is a lot of goal against South Africa scored by Ablade Kuma. Okay, well, check that again. It escaped us. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Coach, you are looking forward to partnering again with your former club Al Ahly, but regarding what's happening, regarding your progress as well, and where you want to see yourself, what will be the plan? Please hold that answer as I get my first caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank you too for receiving and accepting me. My regards to your guest.
Sure.
Felix Abuaji. Gonna the days. I think he was a good player. And just like sometimes in football, lucky also counts. And if where you have determined to get to, you are not getting there, that doesn't mean that it has too much effect on your life. Once you have planned a good life, and that is where he is today, then we cherish him. But some of the matches, especially the matches against Brazil those days, I realized something. I just wanted to know if there was a good cohesion, especially in relation to how, as players, as colleagues players, before they played that match, I learned something happened in camp before they moved to the park, and that is what caused them. And none of them has been able to reveal those things as at today. If you can say that, they say something happened among them as players, and that is why they lost that match painfully. If you can disclose that.
Thank you. All right, Felix. Okay, so some correction on the Samuel Osei-Kuffour, Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour. Well, yeah, it was Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour in that squad. But what we're saying here as well is that, Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour later gave proof of himself as a quality player. Well, he may not have had the best of times at the tournament, at the Olympics, but then when he came back to Accra Hearts of Oak, I mean, he gave a good account of himself, right or wrong?
Yeah, of course. During our when we went to qualify, our qualifying series, Osei-Kuffour, the general, was influential in the qualifiers. So why not? He's a good player. That's why we took him.
All right. Let's get another caller before we get the answers to the supposed beef in camp, which cost us the winning of that game, and also where he wants to take his career. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Nat. The man who has love for sports.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm great. I hope you're also doing wonderful.
Thank you. I'm great.
Yeah, I'm enjoying your discussion. I want to ask a brief question now. You see, during this month's time, those guys they played with, especially the Brazilians, later on, they ended becoming great footballers. But this is as if our Ghanaian counterparts, somehow along the line, we didn't hear much about them, only some few ones. I want you to give me the secret. Why? What was the reason why they were not shining rather than, the Brazilian counterparts? This is Ajman just a complaint.
Okay, Ajman, thank you so much. You spoke about that earlier, right?
That link, the transformation, from one national team to another, the link was not there. From our time, most of us were not promoted. Some of them were not promoted, and the Brazilian team, they were all promoted to the senior national team. So from there, they all took off their careers. But our team was disbanded, and we didn't know even where some of our players were.
All right, let's get back on the phone line. Hello, good afternoon. This will be our last caller. Good afternoon.
Yes, and how is Felix also doing?
He's great. Good.
Okay, yes. I wanted to find out, let Felix tell us his views about the current Premier League. How is it going? Does he like the improvements, especially the new FA president? And what does he make of Coach Attoh too? Does he think he can help us with something?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You heard him.
Yeah, you see, because of the COVID, everything has been standstill, and we're hoping that our league will be back. We want to have a successful league. Everybody, the players have to enjoy their careers and everything. So we're matching time, and we're hoping that when everything gets set, they're going to open our football. It's been fantastic before the COVID. The league was fantastic. We're enjoying it. The Mina Sharks were doing very, very good. Everything was fair on the ground, and everything went back, because of the COVID. So we're hoping that things will be fine, and our football will come back to
the thing about your coaching career, where you want to move it to? Yeah,
I'm still enjoying my coaching career, and what I wanted to do was to have the strikers. I wanted to beat my own academy, for only strikers, because I want to impart the knowledge that I have in striking abilities, how to score goals and other things, into some of the young ones, so that in future they can also emulate what I came to do. So I'm hoping for that dream, that one day I can have that opportunity, so that I can groom up strikers into the country.
So yours is more of development football. That's what you want to
do. Now, looking at our league, you can find some of the players scoring so many goals and other things. 9 goals, then they will win top scorer in the league. It's not good enough.
And that goes to talk about the what the caller was asking about, like the quality of the league and how you see it now.
Our strikers need to score more goals. At least at the end of the season, if each player will score 20 plus goals, I think it will be fantastic. But these days, you cannot see some of the players. They are shying away from going into the box. These are some of the things we need to teach them. During my time, I'm always in the box. I'm a box player. I can withdraw and come and play, but in the box, I'm very, very deadly. So these are the type of players we need in the country, so that our next generation of players that will come to the national team, they have to score more for the nation. Is what we are dreaming of.
I see. The bit about supposed beef in the camp as well. There was
in camp it's normal. If you go to a competition, it's normal. During our time, they don't negotiate some of the pairs. The money that from one round to the another round. The pairs that they are going to take. Before our time, they don't negotiate. Then we get there. So when we get to the tournament, a lot of talkings, lot of arguments, lot of that. We went there. That started. But during the competition, everything went on smoothly. Players, they always ask for more. For more. Players ask for more. So if you don't understand the perception of players, you always have problems with them. So, but it's normal. We were not kids during that time. Some of the players were coming from Europe. Others are matured enough. So there will be hula bara in camp, but in the end, we were able to organize ourselves and make sure that I think went on smoothly.
And just before we,
it's unfortunate. Lack of concentration, because coming back to win 2-1 before halftime was fantastic. You couldn't do that. So it's normal, and I think next time when we are going to a tournament, I think we have to arrange everything right.
And just before we wrap it up, in about 10-15 seconds, Attoh and whether he's the man, one of our.
Yeah, he gave me that fantastic pass in against Brazil match, and I scored. I love that guy. He's a fantastic player. Being a coach too, he's been wonderful all around the country. He has coached 2 of the biggest clubs in Ghana, because of the House of Folk, and Obuasi Goldfields, which shows that he has the credentials to do that. So why not give him the opportunity? He's a young chap. He will make mistakes while he's on the way, and hopefully he will get better. Our national team will get better.
Well, just when it's getting exciting, we have to wrap it up. Felix, it's been wonderful having your company here. Thank you so much, and we look forward to doing some more in the future. Thank you so much. Felix Abuaje has been my guest, and we'd like to say thank you to all of you, the Joy Sports team. And of course, you'd have to continue to follow us during this period because we're bringing you so much in terms of variety, with the leagues getting active in Europe and all of that. Thank you so much. By God's grace, I'll be back next weekend with another Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM and my Joy Online TV. The very adorable Hannah Odame in her summer dress, getting ready with the Joy headline news at 2.